we're on record today for review as it relates to Dustin King, third review, permanency planning hearing, and a request on a termination petition. Those issues are consolidated for purposes of today, given the statute asking the court to determine whether or not there's been progress made that justifies allowing the case to remain open, or if that lack of progress and lack of prospective progress should move the court to grant a request for termination of his parental rights. Any objections to that should be lodged right off, but let's start with appearances.
Your Honor, may I ask that a courtesy be extended to the doctor so that we can get him out of here?
Well, let's do appearances first. Do we have a guardian ad litem?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood, lawyer guardian ad litem for the minor children.
Ms. Tasha Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Latour.
Megan Latour, foster care worker.
Michael Brooks, I'm the attorney for Dustin King, the father. Dustin?
Dustin King, the father.
I apologize. Ariel Berger here on behalf of Dustin King Jr.
Thank you. All right, any opening comments from our attorneys? Ms. Underwood, I typically would take your report first, but given the request for termination, I've been inclined to ask you to wait till you've heard everything, but it's up to you.
I'm happy with waiting until the end, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, any other preliminaries then?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm asking that my client's doctor be taken out of sequence as a courtesy to him. I'm sure he has a very busy schedule.
Your Honor, I have no objection to that particular request. However, I would have concern about witnesses that are being presented today, as we did not receive any witness or exhibit list for the termination hearing. I cannot think of the court rule off the top of my head, but I want to say it's MCR 3.976, which deals with permanency planning hearings. And I believe that if there are going to be a presentation of witnesses, then we are to be notified ahead of time.
Your Honor, I know the rules as well as counsel does, but I didn't know these witnesses were going to be requested till very, very late.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Brooks. Why don't you give us a little preview, if you will, and offer proof as to what the doctor will be testifying to?
Well, the doctor, as you're well aware, Mr. King has some brain conditions, a tumor, and the doctor's here to discuss its effects and his prognosis of how he is presently doing and will be doing in the future.
Mr. King, you're really going to have to refrain from your commentary because it's interruptive and distracting, and I'm going to have to ask you to leave the room if it continues. You're warned.
Apologize.
Thank you. Responses from our other attorneys? Ms. Berger, Ms. Underwood.
Your Honor, I'm not sure.
This is what I'm talking about, Mr. King.
Hello, do you want me to comment now about his brain tumor or? This is Dr. Nasrat and the neurologist.
Yeah, we're not ready for you yet, doctor. Just a moment.
Oh.
Ms. Berger.
Your Honor, I'm not aware of the relevance as it relates to the petition for termination, and as it relates to the services that Mr. King has been made available to and hasn't completed, and his ability to parent.
Ms. Underwood?
I would agree with that, Your Honor.
Okay, well, we're gonna allow it for limited purposes of how it may have affected his performance in the last report period and whether or not it will continue to affect his lack of performance moving forward as documented in our anticipated court report, and because this is a termination trial. Mr. Brooks, who are your other anticipated witnesses?
My client's mother, and as far as I know, that's the only one who's appeared. Mr. What's his name?
Dorio.
What's his name?
Mr. Burl.
Burl?
Berl. Burl Dorio.
Who's here to testify as to the quality of my client's parenting.
And my health.
At this point, I just ask that any potential witnesses be sequestered.
Okay, Mr. Dorio, if you could step into the hallway, we'll let you know when it's your time to testify.
And the client's mother.
And yes, thank you, Mr. King's mother. I didn't catch your name.
Sir, I've got to listen to what he's telling me. I just have to.
So, Mr. Brooks, is that the person sitting behind you? Because I'm not sure she heard me.
And you've got to wait in the hall.
I gotta wait now.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. All right, any other objections to taking the testimony of the doctor first?
None, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Okay. Mr. Brooks, this is your witness, Deputy Ames.
Dr.
Nazareth.
Swear.
Dr. Nazareth, please.
Doctor, does your camera? There
Yeah,
we
I
go.
think. Mhm.
Thank you. Can you
Yeah.
raise your right hand, please, sir?
Sure.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah, I swear I will say the truth, nothing more than the truth.
Doctor, is your name spelled correctly on the bottom of your screen there?
Yes, last name Nasrat, first name Tufik, Taofik.
Thank you. Mr. Brooks.
Doctor, are you professionally acquainted with my client, Dustin King?
Can you say it again, sorry?
Pardon me, Your Honor, or pardon me, sir?
He couldn't hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, I cannot hear you very well.
are you acquainted with my client, Dustin King?
I'm his neurologist, but I really don't understand your question. What was your question, sorry?
That's what you said.
Yeah. Do you know my client?
Yes, he's my patient.
All right.
Mhm,
Through a lot of court hearings,
mhm,
my client has testified
mhm.
that he has a brain tumor which affects his ability to function from time to time. Can you tell us whether or not you have found he has a brain tumor?
So basically what he has, Mr. King, are you okay if I talk, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So,
Everything you-
thanks. So we did MRI to his brain, and what he has just a brain cyst. It's a benign brain cyst. It's not a cancer. We're not to go to cancer, okay?
And what would you expect to be the consequence? What would you expect to be the result of suffering with this brain cyst?
So he could be completely normal from this brain cyst, so it may not affect him at all. However, it may give him headaches from time to time. And if it gets larger and larger, he may get like weakness, seizures, things like that. But at this time, I really don't think it will affect him.
Uh-huh.
Do you believe it has affected him in the past?
You mean in terms of his, I don't think it's affecting him significantly in the past, okay, apart from some headaches, things like that.
So,
Doctor, could you just slow down just a little bit for
Yes.
our court reporter? Thank you.
Yeah. So I said, this is a benign cyst, okay? Now, this cyst usually causes no symptoms, but sometimes it can give him seizures, weakness, and this is like rare possibilities, okay? Now, when he comes to my clinic, because he feels forgetful, and also he said he gets staring off. So there's a possibility this is small seizures, but when I did the EEG, everything came back negative, but still cannot completely rule out small seizures. Otherwise, I don't think it will affect him if he doesn't get seizures, if he doesn't pass out.
anything else you want me to ask him?
That it was an acronym cyst, and I got 2 frontal lobe matters, and I've been taking care of it with baking soda and lemon water.
I have no further questions.
Okay, so
Any,
Mhm.
one moment, doctor. Any other attorneys have questions for this witness?
I do not. Thank you.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
I just have one. So doctor,
Mhm.
is it accurate then that this tumor should not affect his ability to parent his children?
yeah, I don't think it will affect that at all. Now,
Thank
I don't
you.
know.
That's the only question I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So am I good to go? I have patient with.
Any objections to the doctor being excused?
I want to ask him one more question, Your Honor.
Sure.
Go ahead.
My client says he is scheduled for something called a 96-hour
EEG, yeah.
study.
Mm-hmm.
When is that scheduled?
So that's, I don't know, we have like a partner company that work with insurance and work with the patient. So it's based on when the insurance get it approved and when the patient has good time.
All right. So at this point, it has not been scheduled. Is that right?
Because they want
Yeah.
to do a home.
I would ask Mr. King. Mr. King, was it scheduled or not yet?
Mr. Nazareth, or Doctor, he'll have to testify on his own. Right now, it's just for your testimony, so we can.
Yeah,
get you
then the
that.
right answer, I don't know if it's scheduled or not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
have no further questions.
Any questions based on Mr. Brooks's questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Objections to him being released?
No.
No.
Your Honor.
So I can go, I just have patient, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, thank you. You guys have a good day.
You
You
too.
too.
Okay, so let's go back to Ms. Thomas for her witness presentation as we would normally would.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask Ms. Latour to be sworn in to provide her report for the review portion.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Ms. Thomas, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Latour, you've provided 2 court reports since we've been in court last. One was very significant in length, and you provided that on, it looks like November 3rd. And then you also did an updated court report that was provided on December 5th. Is that accurate to the best of your recollection?
Yes.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to either report or any of the attachments that you've included?
To let me listen.
Yes, Mr. King has started re-engaging in individual therapy. He attended one session in November, a session on the 9th of this month, and then he is scheduled for another one on 11/23.
Do you mean, I'm sorry, do you mean December 23rd?
Yes, my bad. That was, yes, that was
Nope,
what I meant.
that's okay.
Jesus.
And
Mr. King, outbursts including especially profanity will not be tolerated in my courtroom. That is your second warning. 3 warnings and you're watching from a distance. We'll set you up in a different room so that you too can observe your own trial by Zoom. I can't have you interrupting, and it's very disrespectful for you to interrupt with profanities. Thank you. Go ahead with your next question.
thank you. Do you have any updated reports from the therapist?
I do not. She was not able to provide me one.
Okay, but do you have a release for her?
I do.
Okay, wonderful. And during this review period, how would you generally describe Mr. King's compliance with his case service plan?
I would describe it as minimal, just due to let me phrase this, due to the lack of progress that he did quickly. It was only in the recent weeks that he started engaging more often. We had attempted to schedule multiple team meetings with him before the previous court hearing. And it wasn't until recent that he attended one and was there on time.
And at this time, is there any change? Well, let's just kind of go through some of the basic things from the court report as it relates to contact with you. How is that going during this review period?
He does return text messages in a timely manner. While it's not always quick. It does get returned within, I'd say 48 or 72 hours.
Okay.
And email wise, he does return them pretty quickly.
And has he initiated any contact with you to like ask what services are needed, if referrals are being followed through, or how the children are doing?
Not during this reporting period, no.
It looks like there was a rescheduled hearing in November. So as it relates to criminal matters or civil infractions or anything like that, your report gives us, the first one from November, gives us some details on that. Do you have any updates about that criminal matter that was pending?
I do not, as it is not scheduled until the 17th.
Okay,
Or
so it got
has returned.
adjourned again?
Yes.
And this would be from a violation of a PPO or a domestic violence, is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Have there been any appointments that Mr. King would have been permitted to attend during this review period for the children?
No, due to his suspension of parenting time.
Okay. And are you still providing him with like the medical passports that are updated regularly?
We send them over email to him.
Okay. How would you describe his participation or engagement with the psychological recommendations or the recommendations from a psychological evaluation?
I would say that they've been very minimal, as it is
Sir, you
still
gotta let me listen to her.
still unclear if he has scheduled the psychiatric evaluation that was recommended in there. And due to the gap in individual counseling, and he has not shown the 6 months of stability that was recommended in there.
As it relates to drug screens, there's no concern there, correct? Like there's no concerns of substance use for Mr. King?
Correct.
Okay. And for parenting education, has there been any update in any classes he's taken or any referrals made for that element?
I had made a referral back in October for Care Pregnancy Center. I am unsure if they had been able to reach him or not. And when I attempted to get some clarification, she had not answered me.
And I'm sorry, did you say you made that referral in September?
October.
October, okay. Did you provide Mr. King with any contact information for him to initiate that contact with Care Pregnancy Center?
I did, yes.
One of the main issues for this case has been domestic violence. Have there been any, do you believe that there's been any resolve to that issue or that concern?
I do not believe that there's been any resolve, as he's still attending court for it. He has not completed any domestic violence education courses that had been recommended to him during this reporting period. And the last time that I knew, he was still contacting Miss Miller.
I'm going to kind of backtrack just a minute here. You had mentioned that in the psychological evaluation, there was recommendation for 6 months of stability. Can you refresh our memories as to what that 6 months of stability was related to, or why that was part of the recommendation?
Yes, give me 1 second, let me pull it up. So
Can
that
you just let us know what document you're referring back to?
I am referring back to the psychological evaluation report that was provided by Dr. Park.
Okay, that's fine. We just need to know for the record that you're refreshing your memory.
Yes, it was for him to provide a 6 months of mental stability with no hospitalization or and not displaying any in their words psychotic behavior along with the goals that they had stated above.
Okay. And was that in reference to what would need to occur for them to recommend parenting time again?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, are you aware of any different location where Mr. King is living?
I am unsure
Okay.
of where he is living currently.
Okay. And do you know if he's employed?
I am unsure. I do know that he receives SSI benefits.
Okay.
And his amount is around $300, if I remember correctly.
And do you know what that is for? Like
It's
what disability?
it's related to his previous brain injury, if I remember correctly.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, what are what are Mr. King's diagnoses or limitations that would impair his ability to understand what is happening in court proceedings or with his foster care case management?
I have not received any diagnoses that would affect his parenting skills.
And so the prior brain injury, has he ever indicated that he needs additional reminders for appointments or needs you to read out loud any documents that are provided to him?
He has not to me. I do not know if he has done so in the past.
Okay. And so just to summarize your testimony as it relates to this review period, Mr. King's compliance with this case service plan has been minimal, and it started within the last few weeks, and mostly that's related to engaging in therapy. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then as it relates to the children, can you just provide us with a brief update on how they're doing? And again, we're on YouTube, so please don't use names, but if you can just kind of let us know how they're doing and anything else that you think the court should know.
Junior is doing very well. He's been enjoying his new school, has been working with a counselor himself, and reports that he enjoys those sessions. And that he's been able to get proper medical and dental care, and has started having less frequent bathroom accidents at nighttime. The oldest of the youngest three is doing well. He's been doing very well in school. There have been less outbursts, and I was able to do a home visit yesterday with them, and he was all smiles. He was super happy. They were planning on putting up a Christmas tree, so he was excited about that. The middle of the younger three, he's also doing well. Head Start has been going very good. He's continued to be engaged in speech therapy, and his speech has improved remarkably, even since I started the case. And then NK, she's such a bright, happy girl. She's incredibly loving. She just has been doing very well in placement and continues to thrive.
Thank you for that. Is the youngest one, NK, is she in any type of like daycare or early education setting?
She is participating at Trenton Hills. She's in, I want to say it's either, I think it's once a week. She goes there and she's able to get some social interactions with children her age. But because of how she's progressed, they were working on transitioning her to another group for children her age.
Wonderful. With it, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Latour and would just ask the court to accept the court reports and the updated report that has some attachments for ICWA, and which indicate that there's no Native American heritage.
There's also a proof of service in here documenting that Mr. King was served with this petition on November 4th, 2025 by Ashley Beach.
She wasn't.
Any objections to the admission of the reports and exhibits?
None.
No objection.
Thank you. They are received. Any questions for this witness, Ms. Berger?
No questions, Your Honor.
Excuse me, my client's just written me a note saying he objects. He did not give me a reason. I'm putting it on the record, so you have it.
Thank you. I don't see any problem with the evidentiary pieces for purposes of the review, PPH and consolidated termination petition, and I'm receiving them. Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
If I'm following you correctly, ma'am, there's been some progress on the part of my client in the last couple of months. Is that accurate or inaccurate?
Throughout November and into December, yes.
Does it continue to this day?
To my knowledge, yes.
Have you ever done a home study of his home?
No, Mr. King has refused to provide us an address of his most recent living situation.
Have you personally spoken to Mr. King?
I've sent him text, and then any communication between him and my supervisor, I've been included in as well.
Have you discussed his medical condition with his doctor?
Not on the phone. We've received medical documentation from a couple of the hospitals that he's been to, and they've been submitted previously.
And what do they show?
They, from the best of my knowledge and recollection, they show that he reports previously having leukemia, that his cysts are benign, and that he reports that he also has autism.
Let's talk about the autism for a minute. Have you looked into that to see if what he tells you is accurate or not?
I have not looked up anything. I have family members and nephews that have autism themselves, so I'm a little bit more aware of it than needing to look it up. So
Has any accommodation been made for his autistic tendencies?
We have sent him over email and text messages, a priority list of things that he needs to do. We've attempted to set up multiple meetings with him so that we can talk, not just over the phone, but face to face, or over Zoom.
Have you been able to conduct those meetings?
The only one that I was able to be a part of and conduct was on 12/4, which is when Mr. King did
I can't
attend.
hear her. Do you understand?
Just nobody's giving me the benefit of the doubt on these.
You've got to follow the procedures of the court.
All right.
May I ask you the question again, please?
Yes, the only time that I've attended and Mr. King has been there was on 12/4.
And what was decided, if anything, at that here meeting?
There was not anything decided. We were meeting with Mr. King to go over his case service plan and touch base with him about what he was needing help with.
What goals do you have for him to get restoration of his custody of his kids?
I would love to see him participate in that parenting education that he had been referred to. I want to see him follow the recommendations that had been made in the psychological evaluation, and for him to schedule and participate in that psychiatric evaluation, even if he does not take any medications, as I know that he is against medication, so that is not.
Do you know if he's been prescribed a medication?
I am unsure.
In any event, do you feel he is appropriate at this time to regain either custody or at the very least parenting time with his children?
I do not.
And why is that?
I have not seen a substantial length of time where he has been engaged in his case service plan, meaning that he has not engaged in individual therapy consistently for multiple months. He is not following the recommendations that were made in the children's trauma assessments or the psychological evaluation. And he is overall not super cooperative when the agency tries to ask him to provide a address for his most recent residence.
Do you know if he's had access to these reports concerning his children?
With the way that he replies to the emails, I would say yes.
When's the last time he's seen his kids?
To my knowledge, it was December of 2024, I believe, or during their trauma assessments.
Could you tell me why his parenting time was suspended?
To my knowledge, it was due to the instability of his mental health.
And as we sit here today, it is approximately the middle of December of 25, right?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Any questions, Ms. Berger?
No questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any questions, Ms. Underwood?
Just to be clear, there has been no engagement in services by Mr. King until November of 2025. Is that correct?
Yes.
And even at that, it's been very minimal.
Yes.
No further questions.
Got emails, but
Any redirects?
No, Your Honor.
Any recross, Mr. Brooks?
Training classes.
No, I don't know what you're trying to
So
show
I'm
me.
saying training classes, they're saying they ain't done nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna take that as a no. No further questions?
No
for this
further
witness?
questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Okay, Ms. Thomas, your next witness.
Your Honor, I want to acknowledge the fact that it was Miss Ashley Beach who signed the petition seeking the court to terminate Mr. King's parental rights. And I would typically call her. However, I think that given the fact that this is just part of our review hearing, that Ms. Latour had provided a lot of information, and I guess I'm asking the court if it'd be necessary to call Miss Beach. And I know that you can't tell me how to run this trial or this hearing. However, I just want to acknowledge that Ms. Latour is not the person who signed the petition. And so I would look, I guess, to the court or to fellow counsel if they have any objections to me not calling her.
Anyone have any questions for the author of the petition?
No, I would like to respond to what counsel has said, though. Ashley Beach is the party who I am used to seeing here at these hearings. She's also the one who's conducted family team meetings. And I think if counsel is not going to call her, I may anticipate calling her as a witness.
You want to lead the charge on that, if you will, Ms. Thomas, or would you like to leave it to Mr. Brooks?
No, I can call her. That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Brooks, for letting me know.
Okay, Ms. Ashley Beach, sounds like you're up next.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Beach, can you just refresh the record on how you are familiar with this matter?
Yes, I have been the supervisor for this case since the children came into care.
And about how long have the children been in care?
They came into care on November 21st, 2024, so a little over a year.
Okay. And you did author the petition that's before the court today, correct?
I did.
Okay. And you've heard Ms. Latour's testimony at today's hearing and in prior hearings as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is there anything from her testimony that you would like to elaborate on about Dad's compliance with or benefit from his case service plan during this review period?
Not during this review period, no.
Okay. Just to confirm, you have also assisted in securing all of the ICWA documentation, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and there has been no indication that Mr. King or the children are eligible for membership in any tribe? Okay. During this case, what has been the primary concern of the agency?
Domestic violence between Mr. King and Ms. Miller was a primary concern and reason for removal, but also Mr. King's unstable mental health and behavior has also been of significant concern.
And as it relates to the domestic violence component, is there any more information that you think the court needs about why that is still an outstanding concern?
So Mr. King reports that he did previously, before this case was opened, participate in the DVAP program with John Bailey. So that's something he's done in the past, but domestic violence continued to be a concern even after completing that service. We did provide him with information on how to contact John Bailey to re-engage in that service again. However, he has not done so. When we met on the 4th, he said he had already done those classes, so he doesn't feel like he needs to do them again. His participation in individual therapy has been very limited. He's attended, I think, 4 or 5 sessions total throughout this case. So domestic violence could be a focus, but he has not been consistent enough to be able to even touch on that yet.
Is there any indication that Mr. King truly understands the impact that his behaviors have had on his children?
I don't believe so. When we met for our family team meeting on the 4th, he did continue to minimize even the conditions, the living conditions that the children were in when they came into care. So I don't think he's been able to acknowledge the risk to any of the concerns that have been expressed to him about what led to the removal of the kids.
Are you aware if anyone from the agency or another service provider sat with Mr. King or attempted to sit with Mr. King to review the children's trauma assessments with him?
I'm not aware. I do know that they've been provided, and we've met with him a couple of times face to face where we've provided him with documentation, but it is very difficult to have conversations with Mr. King at times. He's talks very fast and jumps from topic to topic and will avoid answering questions, and we'll try to talk to him about certain things. And then he'll have a hard time engaging in conversations that we're trying to have with him. So overall, it's just very difficult to communicate information to him.
And during this case, Mr. King has asserted, I want to say on record, and I'm guessing in meetings with you, and in emails also, that he has some diagnoses like leukemia, brain tumors, autism, ADHD, degenerative joint disease, rheumatoid arthritis, and IBS. Have you received any records to confirm those diagnoses to the best of your knowledge?
He did sign several releases for various providers, and we sent requests for records to all of them. We only received records back from Insight Surgical or Neurology office and Hillsdale Medical Associates, and none of them have confirmed that those are active diagnoses. When reading the reports, it looks like they're listed as patient-reported diagnoses.
And even if they are patient reported diagnoses, are you aware of any treatment that Mr. King is doing that would help address or support those diagnoses?
At this time, I'm just aware of that he's being seen by Life Medical Center and Insight Surgical Center to monitor his arachnoid cyst. But we haven't received any documentation from any other providers that he's currently receiving treatment for any of the other reported diagnoses.
Thank you for that. And Mr. Brooks had asked Ms. Latour about the suspension of parenting time. Do you recall why Mr. King's parenting time was suspended?
Yes. I don't have the exact date of that visit in front of me, but it was in December of 2024. There was one specific visit where he was getting accusatory with our staff. He even accused the program director supervising of abusing the oldest LK child. He was recording on his phone. He was discussing case details, talking about how Miss Miller made him get arrested, and he was arrested a few days prior, and he was unable to be redirected when staff were trying to change the subject, so he wasn't discussing those types of things in front of the children.
As you are the person who's been involved with this family since the onset, can you tell us a little bit more about what you observe in the children, from where they started at the time of removal to how they are doing today?
Yes, I definitely saw them more frequently in the beginning of the case. That visit in December of 2024 that I just referenced, the oldest LK child was actually biting the program director supervising on the leg. So she had to like physically remove him from her leg because he was biting her and trying to get out of the room. I don't like to use this word, but I mean, it's what I think of as they were kind of feral. They were having difficulties eating and toileting, and they were severely delayed in speech and language, and the oldest LK child was delayed across multiple different areas and in services. Both LK children and the oldest child too, we have more recently found out had a lot of dental decay and needs for dental work. The older LK child actually had to be sedated to have all of his cavities filled and teeth pulled and such. So, and they hadn't been seen by a doctor in a period of time for physicals. So overall very neglected, and behaviorally there have been struggles throughout this case. The older two children are both in therapy and receive wraparound. The oldest child does struggle with enuresis at night, continues to wet the bed, although that is improving. I think it comes and goes depending on how he's doing and if he's triggered or not. But overall, they came into foster care with a lot of unmet needs and appearing very neglected, and they have made so much progress across the board throughout their time in care.
As relates to the children's best interest, the children are not placed together, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so the oldest is in a licensed foster care home. Is that still accurate?
Yes.
And then the younger three are with a maternal aunt and uncle?
Correct.
Okay. And although this is not a relative of Mr. King, has that relative placement, has Mr. King been able to take advantage of the relative placement, such as getting more frequent updates for them or having a relationship that would in turn support the children and that be a point of resiliency for them?
No, there is no relationship between Mr. King and the current caregiver, so he hasn't been able to take advantage of the fact that they're in a relative placement.
And you've mentioned some of the things that the children had to deal with at the beginning of the case, but as it relates to their status now, do they have any special needs, or whether that's mental health, physical health, behavioral health, that the caregivers have to address on a regular basis?
Yes, the oldest child has experienced a lot of trauma throughout his life. He struggles with enuresis at night. He's also been diagnosed with ADHD. He is receiving individual therapy and participating in therapeutic groups with John Schoonmaker. And he is also receiving wraparound services, which supports the placement as well. He struggles in school, but I think he is doing a better job as of more recently about completing assignments and turning them in. He's also trying to plug into different opportunities at school. He's very outgoing and expressive. And he's improved a lot even since being removed from his mother's care and placed into foster care. He does have struggles with telling like small lies or resisting boundaries. But overall, considering what he's been through, I think he is doing very well. But it does go up and down for him at times. The oldest LK child does continue to have developmental delays and he has an IEP at school where he receives services. He also does have, I would say, the most behavioral concerns out of the children. He has aggressive outbursts and will often, I don't know if it's as often now, like recount past traumatic events. And he's very willing to share with those he trusts. He is, I don't know if individual counseling has started again. His prior therapist left, but he is receiving wraparound services and the caregivers are actively involved in those services. There were some concerns in June about sexualized behaviors that he was demonstrating towards his younger siblings. So there have been safety plans put into place, and a CPS investigation occurred regarding allegations that were made, and the placement continues to make sure that safety measures are in place, so he's not acting out sexually towards his younger siblings, and any concerns are being addressed in services. The middle LK child is doing well overall. He also has a speech and language delay, but he is behaviorally doing okay. He is doing well in Head Start, and I haven't heard any concerns about how he's doing in the preschool setting. And then the youngest child also has some delays. She's receiving early on services, and then also is going to Trenton Hills for some developmental groups. And she's just a very happy, easygoing child. So I would say that is the current status update of how the children are doing.
Thank you. Do you believe that Mr. King would have the ability to address his children's significant special needs?
I don't believe so.
To the best of your knowledge, does he acknowledge that they even have those heightened needs?
He's acknowledged that the older LK child has autism. But I don't think that we've gotten to the point where he's acknowledged that some of the behavioral and emotional concerns are a result of the things that they've gone through.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to state for the record today?
Just that when we received his psychological evaluation, we did see that his working memory and processing speeds were in the very low ranges. So we have made attempts to keep as much as possible in writing. And we implemented the priority list to write down what he should prioritize, and that includes calling which provider with a phone number, asking him to provide things by a certain date, and then providing him with hard copies of documentation when we can. So we have tried to make those accommodations.
Thank you for that. Your Honor, I have no further questions for Ms. Beach.
Mr. Brooks.
My client states that he's been diagnosed with autism. Are you aware of that?
Yes, he has shared that before.
All right.
More than one.
And have you, during your time with this case, and I know it's been substantial, tried to reach some accommodation with it to make up or help with this deficit that he suffers from?
So we haven't received documentation from a medical provider that he has autism spectrum disorder or some sort of assessment that says he does. We don't have record of that. I don't know that I've heard from Mr. King what kind of accommodations he would need related to his autism disorder.
I'm sorry, I can't hear two people at once.
Sorry, my doctor that was on there.
No. How long has it been since he's seen his children?
Mid-December of 2024.
So it's been approximately 12 months, right?
Correct.
Do you think it would have been helpful if he could have had contact with his children during that time in terms of dealing with the situation, family situation as it exists?
I'll acknowledge that this seems to be very stressful. The situation has been stressful for Mr. King, and it has been a lot for him to manage. But he has a lot to focus on individually. And I don't know that children having contact with him before he's addressed his needs would be what's best for them.
You're breaking up my train of thought. You're breaking up my ability to hear, witness. I can't represent you if you continue this.
My autism's faster. than
Sir.
yours, stuff. Sorry.
Excuse the interruption, ma'am. You've discussed the fact that it's difficult to communicate with this man, is that correct?
Yes.
Could you describe what you're talking about?
Mr. King talks very fast and tends to interrupt. He also will jump from topic to topic. He has difficulty answering direct questions. We've asked him like where he's staying, and he'll either say that's my business or give a roundabout kind of answer. And there have been periods of time where he's been difficult to reach. Either his phone has been shut off or he's been in jail for a night here, a few weeks there.
What are the goals that he needs to meet in order for this court to consider not giving him custody back, but giving his parenting time back?
It would be demonstrating stable behavior would be the overall goal, but participating in consistent counseling and working on whatever goals are identified and working on the goals of the psychological evaluation, doing a psychiatric evaluation, and going to parent education at Care Pregnancy Center.
And as of this point, what would you say is the progress been? Have his children expressed the desire to see their father?
I don't see them as much as the direct worker does, so I'm not sure.
I understand. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Ms. Berger, any questions, Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Underwood?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Thomas, any redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. All right, Ms. Thomas, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks? Any witnesses today?
I would call my client's mother.
Okay, what is her name?
Your mother,
Sharon King.
Sharon King.
Very well.
Can you invite her in from the hallway, please?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
There's a step here, be careful.
Mr. Brooks?
Mrs. King, you are the mother of my client, is that right?
Yes, I am.
All right. Now, over the year or so that we've been coming to court on this matter, he has repeatedly stated that his brain tumor is a cause of his problems as seen by this court. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
What is your reaction to that?
He was okay before he had the issues or before Kirsten beat on him all the time, and I've seen it most of the time.
Do you know do you have an opinion as to whether he has a valid claim of a brain tumor?
He showed me the picture of it on his phone, and I've had issues for 2 years before he ever got diagnosed. And my throat issue, I gotta go for therapy on.
I see. He also says that he is autistic. Do you have any opinion about that?
Well, I knew he had attention deficit disorder. They diagnosed him when he was little.
No blood test.
So the other I'm not certain about, but he's had issues like Lincoln did.
Right now, how would you describe, what kind of father is your son to his 4 or 5 children?
Could you please repeat that again? I'm hard of hearing.
Sure, I'll speak louder.
Thank you.
How good a father is he to his kids?
He was a good father, even with the first woman he was with. He babysitted her 2 kids. He was good to all kids. Hers, the second one, Kirsten's, all of them. He's been good to.
He has not seen his children in 1 year. Are you aware of that?
And neither have I. They were gonna set me up to see them, and I'm the only one living for the Lord. The rest of them's got sin in their life, like God says. Cause he shows me, he's making me an inspector of the fruit, so I know a lot.
Do you know where your son lives?
Yeah, he moved to my property after he got off of Carrollton Road. And I tried to tell Kirsten to take the $2,000 that she had at the time and was going to campground staying.
Ma'am, do you know where your son lives?
Today.
In Morenci, yeah.
Where in Morenci?
10520 Hickory Street, Morenci, Michigan, 49256.
Sir, please. Do you know where he lives today?
No, I don't have transportation. He's trying to get a trailer set up there. That's all I know.
Now, that trailer would be sitting on property that you own, is that correct?
They paid taxes on it, so it was given to him in 2012.
By who?
Huh?
You don't own the land he's putting the trailer on?
Yeah, it's still in my name, but my older son and wife and him were paying taxes at the time because I wasn't living there.
And where's the trailer?
Over to Tecumseh, in the guy that pulled it back to Adrian has got it. And the townships is holding us up on putting it in because they have targeted me and discriminated against me. And they really need to lose their jobs because they haven't cleaned the whole township up.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the quality of your son's parenting time?
Yeah, he used to wrestle with the kids. I'd seen him bathe them if she didn't want to, or if I didn't bathe them. And he fed them. He done a lot of things with them over the time until he got sick.
When the kids were removed from his custody, was that your backyard they were removed from?
Yes, it was. I told them that they needed to get a place to live, but Kirsten and him didn't have no credit, I guess, to get anything. So they come and lived in a tent there then.
Was there room in your home at that time?
It wasn't worth
I wasn't living in my home, it was getting tore down. The trailer was.
Oh, I see. So there
That's
was,
why I had to get a loan and buy another one.
so,
Cause Dustin Junior and I found it. And he had already picked his room he wanted when he seen it in Carson City.
where's Carson City?
I don't know. All I know is we traveled there to get it.
All right,
it.
I have no further questions, ma'am.
One moment, please. Any other attorneys have questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
None, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Any objection to releasing this witness from sequestration if she wishes to remain in the courtroom?
I have none.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
You may remain in the courtroom if you like.
Remained in the courtroom.
If you need to go, you can, but you don't have to stay in the hallway anymore.
Earl Dory.
I don't have a car anymore. since
That's,
I
I just wanted to let you know where you could sit.
You can stay in here.
Burl Dorial.
All right.
The gentleman, sir.
Hey, sir, if you could stop at our podium on your way up and give us your full name and spell it for the record, I'd appreciate it. Yes.
Real Doyle, and that's Veryl, Doyle, Doriot.
Thank you. You may proceed to the witness stand.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
There's a step here, be careful.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, whenever you're ready.
Sir, my client has asked me to call you as a witness today. What do you know about his personal life in the last year?
That may be kind of hard to say any time frame you're talking about.
Well, do you know my client?
Yes, sir.
How long have you known him?
Several years.
Do you have any opinion about his quality as a father and how he is with his kids?
Could you scoot up to the microphone, please?
He
Thank you.
would read to him, he would do other stuff, but you do with the kids, which it's hard to explain,
I have no other questions, Your Honor.
Any other attorneys have witnesses, have questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
None. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any objection to him being released?
No.
None.
You can have the seat in the courtroom if you want.
No objection.
Dustin King.
Thank you. All right, well, we're at 11:49. Why don't we do this? Let's take our lunch break and we'll resume our proceedings this afternoon. At 1:15, if that works for everyone.
All right.
So just to confirm, Ms. Thomas, you're done with your witness testimony. Ms. Berger, you didn't have any witnesses and well, I haven't asked Ms. Berger yet. I know we're working on Mr. Brooks's witnesses, actually. You were ready to go, Mr. King. Is that how you'd like to proceed?
I call Mr. King to the witness stand.
Thank you, Mr. King. Come on up. All right, Mr. Brooks, whenever you're ready.
My client has asked me to write down my email address.
My character witness from Fast Guys Automotive wants it.
Oh. Sir, you have been asking this morning that I allow you to discuss your health issues, right?
Yes.
Begin.
I have I guess what's believed to be, I've given Michael Alvarani the email and he has not went over it. I'm not a doctor, but the doctor that you've seen on the screen has said
that I could be a doctor. But I told him I don't want to be a doctor because I'd be taken advantage of like I am right now with my children. I said, if it was different standards, I probably would be as smart as I am. I'm not getting the benefit of doubt on anything. I just went through warfare here.
Sir, my question was, would you explain to the court what your health issues?
3 genes mutated, which cause polymorphism syndrome or serotonin syndrome.
And what does that mean?
Which it gives vitamin deficiencies real fast, which it doesn't allow your detoxification of your liver. There's a lot of issues. It's not just one. It's all mediated into one.
And how does that directly affect the decision the court's making today, whether or not you should have your parental rights terminated?
Now that I'm gaining ground and understanding what I went through in the last year, like I was trying to tell you, wrote down there, I believe I'm better positioned than I was 6 months ago.
Why?
Because my health's gaining ground.
Oh,
They want to do a 96-hour study. They haven't called me and told me yes, no. Well, they told me I only had right frontal matter, which I had both frontal matters. The posterior acronoid cyst is to do with the cerebral stem cell fluid in my 4th ventricle. It wasn't communicating well, so that has a lot of the issues what you guys are dealing with and seeing. And now that I'm understanding that and fixing that, why can't I correct all of it?
Well, tell me again, because I'm still not clear how these various
The variants.
maladies.
I can read it.
Let me finish my question. How do these various maladies impact your ability to adequately or appropriately care for your children?
Well,
What specifically?
I had, like I told you, I wanted to use her as a witness. Obviously, we can't, but she knew the issues. And
Who's she?
Kirsten, the kid's mother. She knew the issues where I would lay in bed 3 to 4 days last year because of it, and to not figure out where I'd stare off into space and slouch down in the seat or something. I'm not doing that as much now. So obviously the seizures that he was talking about, I'm getting under control. I have 3 heterozygous genes.
What?
I have 3 heterozygous genes.
What are those?
They cause the autism, apparently. MTHFR, MTR, and an MTRRR. I can go farther.
Well, I don't know what that means.
Okay, the genes, there means one variant is mutated. I have 3 out of my 5 that make up my genetic DNA.
All right, and what about those 3 genes?
Okay, they've caused a lot of issues you guys have seen and understanding. Nobody wants to believe because I'm not a doctor, of course. Now, I'll tell you.
And how did that impact the rearing of your children?
4 days after my children were taken, I had a blood test taken and Viral paid for it. A1298C heterozygous gene. A gene inherited from one parent has a variant while the other gene is normal. Enzymes.
Okay, sir, we're not gonna just read from the internet.
That's
This
not
is
the
your
internet, it's an
opportunity
email.
to testify. Mr. Brooks, if you could ask your next question.
Mr. King, let's try this tack. You have a variety of, you believe you have a variety of genetic and physical issues and psychological issues.
That I barely got to where I'm at today with, yes. I'm farther away from understanding them, but I understand them more than you guys do.
All right, now, to what extent before you started improving, were these impacting your ability to appropriately?
Somebody believes my pH level was 5.9, so I was very acidic, so I wasn't retaining and regaining any information that I should have been. I was very not alkaline, like you should be. You know, I've had to get ivermectin, I've had to get THC oil, I've had to get a guy that come from 2013, his kids were taken by, you know, and he was put on M1.
Sir, you're getting off the track.
I'm sorry.
You can't do that. You gotta, this is your time.
Right.
This is the only time you're going to, last time at least.
Well, it's not gonna be my last time, because I'll fire you today.
I beg your pardon? Did you say something directly to me?
Yeah.
I'm not getting the benefit of the doubt on any of my medical contingencies here.
Okay. Will you work with me today?
Yes, I will.
Aside from your genetic issues, are there any physical issues?
Not now, other than me getting a car and getting back to work. The doctor don't want me to work that you've seen right there. He said, no, lift 5 pounds, don't move 5 pounds, don't push 5 pounds. But he didn't mention none of that to you because you didn't ask none of those questions. I have a video here if you'd like to see it.
No.
From that doctor recorded.
Didn't you mention to me that you have some issues with autism?
Yes, that is the part of the 3 mutated genes. That's why I went higher to that doctor, Michael Elderani in Dearborn, to try to get them done, and he has not done them. He says, well, like everybody else, why don't you come around every 6 months? Well, I've been there a lot. Obviously, I didn't know what was, if I hadn't been there, I didn't know what's going on in my body, correct? Bro and my mother were paying for a wellness clinic, is how I found out this polymorphisms. I'm not just reading off the internet. This is from a doctor in Florida.
All right. You also mentioned that you have a brain tumor.
That's what they're saying is a stem cell, a posterior acronoid cyst, cerebral stem cell sac that was not communicating. It was getting bigger and it was pushing against my brain. He didn't explain that.
Again, how does that physical condition, how does that physical condition impact your ability to rear your children?
It had then. I believe I'm moving right through it now. Obviously, I wouldn't be here doing all the things I am doing. And obviously, I was getting madder at one time in the court. Obviously, in March, I broke that phone because I was upset that nobody had got Leslie Conrad in trouble over slamming Lincoln up with the baby gate in his arms. You know, I went to New York City Times to try to get this exposed. I'm upset. I'm a dad that's tried for my kids. I even grew my kids while I was at the shop in Barrington to come see. While I was going through this cancer that nobody can find. Well,
now hold on. Yeah, I was gonna say back up. I tell the court about cancer.
Dr. Kelly, John Kelly, he was mom's doctor in Tecumseh at one time. Now, then he went to 6 to 8 years ago. He's right where Christina Yancey is at the, oh, what is that? The clinic out there across from the old Burger King. Lenway Medical Clinic, I guess. I haven't been there in a while, so I don't care what the name is. I got dyslexia, nobody understands. So I jump all around in fragments.
Well, it's hard to follow, sir.
I understand.
I was asking you a
That's real
question
hard to
about
follow.
cancer.
They told me that all these cysts grew from those things, from be the negative aspect of your pH level low.
And what is what type of cancer do you have?
I don't know what it is, but I know between all the deficiencies, the leukemia and the 3 genes mutated out of the 5 that make up your genetic DNA, the ACHY and this COMT is not genetically modified. That means it come great from my mother and my dad. But one other parent had a modified genetic DNA that threw at me. So now I've been having to deal with this all my life, where I had burning stomach and I didn't know what, dude, my stomach's getting better. If you don't have a gut microbiome, you ain't nobody. I don't care what anybody is in this world.
You mentioned it, something about leukemia.
That's what John Kelly had told me I had 6 to 8 years ago, and I said I would use Kirsten because Kirsten was sitting right there in the room when we figured it out.
What treatment are you receiving?
They did
for
not receive
leukemia?
anything. They did not give me anything. What nobody's understanding, I'm not bringing up anymore because it's old news that doesn't have nothing to do with it.
Are you contending that today you have leukemia?
I don't know, because if they didn't test me correctly, how would I know? If he just told me I did and I told him I'd sue him if I didn't. So he didn't poke at me because A, I'm not an experiment.
Well, let me explain if I can here. One of the defenses you have asked me, is to raise the issue of your various and sundry health issues.
Right.
And that
Because
they
that was
have an
just-
impact on your
They
ability.
give me high stress when I have low vitamins. Mood instabilities come from B2, B6, B9, B12, the vitamin D. When you're not taking them on in proper form and you're just pissing them right out, your kidneys, because you've had something wrong with you. Well, I have an email here that says negative high, COOHH, double bond OH. I don't know what that is, but I have a chemist I've been talking to on it. But it says negative high, so I don't know if I was poisoned with something this is Michael Alderani's email from his blood work. Something's going on and nobody's looking into who I am or what I need to be for my children. Why ain't nobody helping me? I can help.
I'm
everybody.
trying
No,
to
no, no,
give
no.
you the
Not
opportunity
you.
right now.
What I'm saying is, why aren't we getting anywhere faster?
I am trying right now to give you the opportunity that you say you wanted to discuss your health issues.
Right, because I have not been, like I explained to Megan out in the hallway, I have not been able to correctly. That's why me and you have friction, because you don't understand the way my mind thinks.
No, I don't.
That's what's wrong with this world. There's nobody to run it with an autistic in it. Individuals.
I hadn't gotten to that yet.
The world should have been doing that when Albert Einstein was around.
Here it is. Autism. You tell me you are autistic. Is that right?
Yes.
Are you being treated? Is there a treatment for autism?
You should have asked my doctor. I don't want pills because that's what killed my gut when I was a little boy and it made me fit to kill somebody, and I will not take them because I don't believe in them. I believe they're petrochemicals and I'm not into the biased, I'm into the unbiased stuff in life.
Are you doing anything
Baking
for your
soda.
autistic tendencies?
I gained, can I read off my Google chat that I built?
But
It says why neurotoxins get trapped and important for you. The cyst sits in an area where CSF.
well, the judge doesn't want you reading. I'm asking you in plain English.
The pressures increase in my neurotoxins and everything in my brain.
And what are you doing to control
You
it?
should have asked my doctor. I don't know what he wants to do. They want to do a 96-hour study on me and I don't have a house because the township won't let me get my property back there because like you said, if we move the camper, I already did it. If we move the deck, I already did it. He's not come out there and allowed us to get a permit because he thinks something, you know.
We aren't to that yet. We're not there yet. Let me see if this will help you answer a question. If you got your kids back, hypothetically, today, are you in better mental and physical position today to raise those kids?
Than I was last July, yes.
In what sense? Tell me about your
Well,
personality and the way you conduct yourself.
I'm putting something together pretty diverse. I went to the Fiesta Ranchera and, you know, they got me out of jail. You know, Jose did. He told me I was a pretty well spirit, you know, now that I'm healing. And he said, you know, he's seen the various stages of my life in 21 years. You know, all these people ain't gonna come here because they got a life, you know what I mean? They make more money than just sitting here dealing with this. And to put something together like better than my stepdad and make generational wealth out of it for my kids, I couldn't do that for 5 to 8 years because I didn't know what's wrong with me. Now that I know what's wrong with me, one box of baking soda has been saving my life with a bag of lemons and water, right?
What do you do with your baking soda?
That's an Amish remedy
For what?
to re-emulsify your gut. You're a 2-part or what, 1 part hydrogen and 2 parts bicarbonate.
Well,
So
what
sodium bicarbonate.
specific health issue that we've discussed here today does this treat?
Something to do with gut dysbiosis or something. I ain't been told what I correctly have, because like she said, it was just off the internet, but the people that called me, when I got this email, I could tell you when it is. I think it's 11/26 of 24 from Florida. So 4 to 5 days.
Are you telling the court you are feeling better since you?
I'm feeling better, and I feel like we need to do more for our Americans and our health. And
Well,
instead
I'm
of
not
just
interested in all
taking-
Americans, just your 5 kids.
Well, what I'm saying is, my health matters, and health has always mattered to me. Because my grandfather died, whether he got sick before, got a car wreck. But what I'm saying is my mother, nobody understands what I understand right now through Google Chat. I'm a very diverse human being. I improvise a lot. I'm trying to get back on top. I'm trying to get where I said. I just went with a buddy last night for 12 hours at Owns Fast Guys. Soon I go up there and I talk to him and he gives me money.
Now, is there anything more you want the court to know about your health? Have I discussed?
You've
Well, all right, I
discussed-
guess I forgot ADHD.
Yeah, that's what my mother said, but I'd like to find something, whether the B6 is in more natural form than what we're offered in life, like. I got a trick up my sleeve somewhere, that's all I know. If I get dealt the wrong card today.
Now, where do you live?
I'm seeking housing from, like I told you.
We've
I had
discussed
already
it
had it.
many
I already
times.
had it 90 days. And then with all the crap going on, not having a car and all this money, now I got the money, now I just gotta get the car line again, or, tire blew out yesterday. It's just been one thing and another. It's not excuses, it's human life, It's nature, it happens.
Well, let's start with this. This has been going on for about a year. And the very first thing, and probably one of the last things you and I have discussed, is you need a place to live, right?
I just got a lump sum settlement. So I'm gonna make that happen. If the township doesn't get my trailer there, well, guess what? I gotta do something.
Well, that's
I
what
didn't
I
have enough
want.
money. I didn't have enough money to buy a motel each week to live like I did 5 years ago with them kids.
That's what I want to discuss with you, is you went out and obtained a mobile home, is that right?
We did, yes. My son Dustin found it. Me and Dustin went up there. Me and Verl went up there numerous times. Me and my mother went up there numerous times. The guy tried to shoot at me, so I didn't get back up there because I was sick. Well, then I sent the moving guy after $3,500 cash, cashed him out.
And where is that mobile home
To
now?
Counsel, because the township won't let us get put on there. Because Kevin Arquette's not the building inspector anymore. He let us pull it right on, boom, 3 months or less. It's been a year now, come on.
Where is the mobile home now?
Justin House's storage lot, wherever that is in Tecumseh. He never showed me.
Is it in Lenawee
But my mother
County?
has the title, yes, sir.
And why isn't it on your mother's property?
Because Bob Hackett and John Gould have an issue.
Who are-
But everybody
who are
else
they?
is, the building inspector and the township supervisor.
All right,
6 months ago, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't put it together that fast, but now I can.
and have you made efforts to get that decision reversed?
Yes, I didn't take a picture, but I mean, the trailer's out of there, Lincoln's truck sold. I did a lot since September, I went to New York, I went back to New York, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get somewhere. Allegedly, I gotta do what I gotta do.
And another thing, recently you have approached LEAC about assistance.
Again, yes, because I already was approved for 854, but because of my contingencies with the law and up in Jackson, a year and a half ago, before any of this happened, I tried to get expungement. And then the phone broke. She could be a witness to it. Her and Kirsten were trying to get me there. Whatever the expungement deal was here at the courthouse a year and a half ago in August, maybe two now. I was supposed to be in on that because my other charges were able to be expunged, so I could get a house without any problems. Because the house I was living in, from Chris Varian telling me that he was gonna, oh man, I got brand new funding on here. Okay, well, let's get it. He said that numerous times with Nikki. You know, the one, Nikki Jones,
Yeah.
what's her name is? You're lucky I remembered without paperwork.
Do you have the funding now, or at least some of the funding,
For what?
to get a home?
As long as I structure myself like I was doing yesterday, trying to talk to my buddy about it, he showed me one here in Adrian and told me what I could do. And I, had to get to the bank today, and that's what I did before I came here. So got my check picked up that's been in there for 2 weeks.
Why should the court seriously consider returning your children to you, or even giving you parenting time? What is better today than it was when the children were removed from your custody?
I believe their mother's gone out of my life because she decided to be the person that she was and still is today. I've been approached by a detective, special narcotics or special detective Craig Lee. Don't know why, but I'm gonna find out.
Well, I don't understand what police have to do. with
Well, they
you
got a
being
lot to do
father.
with it because she's doing something behind somebody's back, the laws, like she's been doing since we had tried to get her in trouble with Laura J. Shade.
Your Honor, I'm
Or
going to
the-
object. I'm not sure the relevance of this line of questioning.
I have no response.
Okay, if you could move on to a new question.
Yes. I'm trying to get to what, I don't care about your expanded world and family members. I want to know what's different about you at 1:45
Well, I've
in the
lost
afternoon.
57 pounds.
From
I'm a
what?
lot healthier, I believe. Like,
I'm sorry, what?
I'm a lot healthier than I was. I mean, I can't hear out of this eardrum yet. Obviously, it's been busted for 10 years. But that's, not my fault that COVID came along. I didn't invent it.
What else?
I believe since I had COVID 5 years ago, I got sicker and everything, and like mutated my genes, and now something did it, because if I was working for Barron's at the company for 5 years and I ran the records and I was right up there with needles on every call I needed to be.
I'm interested in your relationship with your 5 kids.
Okay, they went with me in the record. They went over to the, they were raised in that shop for 4.5, 5 years is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
If Barron's, if Candy had to be there, if old man Stevie Lucas is dead now, but Kirsten beat me up at his funeral, real good, huh?
How would your children's situation be improved from what it was a year ago?
Because I still have the same people that are trying to drag me out of the mud with her and get me away from her. Because I didn't know what was really going on. But you know what? In the last year, I've investigated so much that you guys should understand.
Can you give the judge any specifics
Like what she did or about my kids?
about your kids?
Well, even, I can't say I go by there, but I've had people go by there and them kids don't go outside as much as they did when I had them. I told John Bailey, he said, man, I know how you are with your kids. I see the CO that I was in jail with. I talked to him about him. He said, man, I know you go to the end of the world over your kids. Everybody I talk to, I tell that because it's going to happen. Now, if I'm being very diverse to try to figure out to get back to him, obviously I did a lot of things with him. Lincoln had a blue Chevy truck. When he gets home, that's gone. He's not going to like it because I don't understand his autism. He would act out all the time and I didn't understand it. And I had to deal with it. How many times did I cry? You'd have to ask my mom. But, when the world don't deal with your issues for your kids, like your autism or your dyslexia, how are you supposed to deal with those things? You don't deal with them with pills because that's not a natural form.
Sir, you're getting off the track of my very specific question. My very specific question is, how is life going to be better for your children today if the judge gives them back?
I have to get a vehicle for them today. But a house, I could go and do the motel thing for now till we get the house with LEAC. Now, they said in July I had 90 days and all the health problems and not doing everything, and then the jail stuff and just everything got pushed away and I missed it by 4 days.
All Are you eligible today?
Yes, I can get back in there. I could have went today. Wednesday, they were closed due to the snow.
Do you have any leads?
We had one last night, if I had the funding.
I thought you said you did have the funding.
You gotta go and re-sign up and that's it. With my issue, I guarantee I can get it because I only get $454 a month and they're taking $12,000 of child support this year. To say I ain't funding my kids is crazy.
All right.
They got $5,000 of mine stood up right now in St. Clair Shores in an IOTLA account. We're keeping it there because they're trying to take too much money from Jackson and out of my money right now. They're taking $500 a month child support and I haven't even got my kids. How's that legal?
Is there anything more you want the court to know?
That my kids would love to take baths and do other things and eat and help me with, you know, salsa, whatever they wanted to do. They did it with me. Whether it be wrestle around, wrestle outside, play outside, go down the, you know, go fast in the Camaro or the truck. I lived in that house for 5 years. We did everything. Last year we went to Lake Michigan and Torch Lake and we had a detective follow us and I wondered why. Now I know why today. I'm not very accusatory on any of these situations because I can prove every one of them.
Is that everything you have to say, sir?
Huh? On what?
Is that all you have to tell the
Sir, you
court?
need to take your phone away from the microphone. Thank you.
Do you have anything else you want to tell the court?
That I've missed a lot of time with them, and every time they've said that I couldn't care about them or go to a meeting or go to a doctor's appointment, you know, they gave my daughter 9 shots after they shouldn't have, right? I had that signed off in Jonesville, or his mother did. There's a lot of issues here that are allegation against the courts and not just me.
I'm more interested in what's for
For
you.
me, right, and I understand that because obviously it's going in a better direction if we talk that way. No, I've lost a lot of train of thought on things and growing as a human. I regenerated because I didn't have my energy field. My kids were my energy field. You know, Lincoln would go to me to big wheels. Dustin would go to big wheels. They'd be allowed to out there. Lincoln would help clean up messes. I was 5 years old picking up my first bolts in Rowan, Michigan. I ain't looked back since. I ain't a millionaire yet, but I got an understanding of what I want to
Your
do.
Honor, I need to object to this line of testimony in general. I believe it's non-responsive and also irrelevant at this point in time.
I have no response to that objection.
Did you have any other questions?
No.
There's
Any
a few on
questions
there.
today, Ms. Thomas?
There's a few on there.
Mr. King, please stop interrupting. Ms. Thomas, do you have any cross-examination for this witness?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Berger?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Ms. Underwood?
Mr. King, why are you seeing all these doctors if you refuse to take any medication to correct your
Well,
issues?
let's see. What do you mean to correct my issue? Has there ever been a cure in my lifetime?
So I'm asking you the question, why are you refusing to take medications that
Have
are
you proved what they
recommended by
can
doctors?
perform? Yeah, exactly. They're recommended.
So you're
So you're gonna tell me,
Sir,
Go
I'm
ahead.
here asking the questions today. Thank you. So you have all these diagnoses that are affecting you. Why are you refusing to remedy them with medication?
because it says right in the email what you need to use. You need natural B12, you need folic acid. You don't need cereal to make folic acid for methylation process. My methylation process is off with my detoxing in my liver, which is your homeocysteine, which is your platelet and plasma in your blood.
Okay, so how does that affect your ability to
Because it
provide
fatigues.
I'm not
It
done answering
fatigues,
my
it
question.
fatigues me. It drops me down.
So that prevents you from getting a stable house for your children?
What do your do you know what your B and T cells do for you, man?
Again, sir, I'm here asking the questions, not you.
I understand that, but you're not giving me any leeway on what I know to tell you.
Right. I'm just asking how these diagnoses that you purportedly have affect your ability to put a roof over your children's head.
Because there was a lump so bad in my throat and the brain tumors between the cerebral stem cell sac or whatever they're calling it now, the posterior acronoid cyst controlled me. If you've never had it, you wouldn't know. So when I got so down deficiency in vitamin D's and I had to keep going to the wellness clinic, I ain't been to the wellness clinic in a year and a half because I couldn't afford it. So now I've been figuring it out myself, like you're saying. With ivermectin and all these other things, the baking soda is what's been helping me gain ground and gain knowledge again. I had the understanding here. I was a very smart individual.
So your doctor indicated that your cyst should not affect your parenting. Did you hear him say that?
Right, but.
Is that a yes or no? It's a yes or no question, sir.
No, he has not done the 96-hour study.
But did he indicate on the record today that your cyst does not likely impact your parenting? Yes or
He did not
no?
understand the question correctly. No,
You didn't, or the doctor didn't, sir?
the doctor didn't.
Okay. You say you have funds now. Have you willingly provided any sort of financial
You guys
support
would
for your
not let me.
children over the last year?
They would not let me. How do I answer this, Brooks? They would not let me near them or be around them. So they're throwing questions at me that are making me retaliatory for no reason.
You indicated that nobody from the department's helping you, but haven't we attempted to try to get, or haven't they attempted to try to get you psychiatric evaluations to help with your diagnosis?
Where can we go? You're making a very accusatory question that leads into another one.
Yeah, I'm just asking, the department has attempted
Not
to
being
get.
formal.
Okay, can you let me ask a question?
If you're formal, yes.
So the department has attempted to have you have a psychiatric evaluation, is that correct?
Yes, I can't pay $200 each visit for the one in Dearborn, so we gotta try to figure out my insurance again. I've asked Megan, I've asked Ashley to be more conservatory with everything, and we're not.
Okay,
Because of a 50-year-old conspiracy over things, it has nothing to do with my children.
thank you. No, I'm done asking that question. You indicated that you have people driving by the placement's home. Is that accurate?
If somebody sees something and says, hey, are your kids ain't outside? Why? I don't know. Ask them. Don't ask me.
So my question is, do you have people driving by?
I don't have
placement's home?
nobody driving by there.
Okay.
But Anna come by my mother's the other morning. I followed her all the way to Adrian.
Yep.
At 6:10 in the morning. If
Okay.
you don't believe me, I come and pick my mother up
Okay.
because of it, and I called her.
So if the children
Getting
were
a little-
returned to you, if the children were returned to you today, how would you provide a roof over their
I
heads?
would probably get out of town if you guys allowed me help to get out of there, because I don't want to be near her.
So you don't have stable
she would-
housing?
I've been shot at.
Sure. You don't have stable housing, correct?
Today,
Correct.
you're putting words in my mouth.
No further questions. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, did you want a redirect opportunity, Mr. Brooks?
How much damage do you think has been done to your relationship with your kids by the 1-year absence?
A lot. But I understand where a bond is that probably didn't get left off, because when I said I wake up every morning to my daughter, for them to say my kids weren't saying, I love you, Dad. My mother's right there. She understands what my daughter said. I slept in the bed. I slept in the living room. Nobody cleaned the house up, dude. It got so bad. I got so sick. I couldn't do nothing. I kept telling my landlord. Obviously, he bought me out of the place because I was so sick I couldn't do nothing. Nobody cared. I kept telling him I had stuff going on. I had pressure up here. My buddy's got it like this right now. I've been trying to get him into the doctor in Toledo. I went to school with this guy. And he said, dude, you used to have something right there. And I said, yeah, it's been going down. The pressure's going down. I don't have as much headaches. I don't puke. I don't nothing. Obviously, the pressures are relieved. So obviously, I'm doing better. Chris wants your email. That owns Fast Guys.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, any recross?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
None, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Any other witnesses, Mr. Brooks?
No, Your Honor.
Any witness presentation today, Ms. Underwood?
Your Honor, I'll call Sherry McKinney, please.
Okay. Sherry McKinney appears to us by Zoom.
I'm here.
Thank you, Mr. Kinney. Can you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, Sherry, I'm just going to remind you we are on YouTube, so if you could just refrain from utilizing the children's names, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Could you state your full name for the record, please?
Sherry Ann McKinney.
And Ms. McKinney, what is your role in this case?
Foster parent, foster mom to all 3 minor King children.
Okay, we would say, just for clarification for the record, the youngest 3, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when did these children come into your care?
We got them November 20th was the first night of 2024.
Okay. So they've been living with you for over a year now, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I know you've already testified to this in another trial. However, I'm going to ask you some similar questions. Can you describe each of the children's behavior when they came into care?
Oh, heartbreaker. The oldest one was in the worst shape. He experienced a lot of trauma and everything. He was used to what he refers to as the tent life, is what he calls it. He would just pull his pants down and poop on the carpet upstairs, pee everywhere. He didn't eat with silverware. He would eat with his hands. He would go into fits of rage automatically. He was very angry, aggressive, non-compliant with a lot of things. He didn't know normal childhood things that, a normal 4-year-old at the time would be involved in. The middle child would also eat with his hands and stuff. They didn't know how to brush their teeth. Either one of the boys knew how to brush their teeth or anything about it. They didn't know basic hygiene. They didn't sit down and eat properly. They didn't have any table manners. They didn't. They couldn't even color with a crayon.
Your Honor, I not only cannot hear the witness testify, my client is sitting here arguing with me about procedure.
Because she's arguing about.
Would you like me to ask him to participate by Zoom from the hallway or another room?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. I think that's appropriate. I too have had trouble hearing and making sure that I'm able to understand the witness
Well,
testimony.
nobody wants to get involved in this
So
whole
Mr.
matter
King, you're
anymore.
welcome to try the hallway.
Charles,
And if
nobody
that
wants
doesn't
involved
work,
in this whole matter.
okay. If that doesn't work for you, then we have a lockup option
I
available
don't
to
want to
you.
do a block.
All right, you're welcome to log into Zoom if you wish.
I don't want to be in the shit.
Thank you.
I don't understand none of it. You guys.
Mr. King, you're gonna need to leave the courtroom.
I think I do. I don't understand none of it.
Ma'am, you're gonna need to refrain from making comments too.
That's
I
absolutely.
apologize for the interruption, but I couldn't hear arguing with me.
You weren't the only one, Mr. Brooks. All right. I'm sorry for the interruption. Ms. Underwood, if you want to redirect your witness or begin again, it's up to you.
Sure. Ms. McKinney, I think you were talking about the middle child and his behaviors when he came into your care. Is that correct? If you could just continue.
Yes. Okay. the middle child, he also ate with his hands, didn't know how to use silverware. They didn't have, they couldn't, neither one of the boys even knew how to hold a crayon to sit down and color a picture with crayons like a normal 3 and 4-year-old would at the time. God, they've advanced so much.
Now,
They
and then the
were
youngest, she was just a year old or so when you had her, correct?
right. Yeah.
Okay.
So we basically, to be blunt, had to teach all 3 kids together how to use silverware when they're eating, basic, table manners, and teaching the boys to go potty in the toilet, things like of that nature.
When the boys came into
We
care, would they hoard food as well during meal
Yes,
times?
yes, especially Lincoln. Oh,
Oh, it's
sorry.
okay.
The oldest of these 3 minor children, he would stuff food in his pockets, and he would say that he was saving some for later. And at the time, he was going to Trenton Hills Learning Center, and there was a lot of times when his teacher have recalled before he came into our care that he would bring his backpack to school empty, and he would take all the snacks that he could and fill up his backpack and say so he could take food home to his little brother and his baby sister because they didn't have food. So yeah, he was used to hoarding food to have something to eat for later.
Okay. I'm going to move on to the next question. And
Okay.
I know that I believe the boys were 4 and 3 when they came into your care. Is that right?
Yes.
And was their speech very, very difficult to understand?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, since being in your care, is it true that both boys have been in regular schooling and received speech plans and
Your
things?
Honor, excuse me, but I'm objecting on the grounds that counsel's questions are highly leading. She's practically testifying herself.
Any response?
I can rephrase.
Thank you.
Have the children started regularly attending school since being in your care?
Yes, they have.
Are they receiving speech services and other services that they need?
Yes, they do. Both boys.
Do they receive regular doctor and dental care?
Yes.
Okay. Has the youngest been evaluated for early on?
Yes.
Is she receiving services?
Yes.
Okay. As far as the oldest child in your care, there have been some concerns about his behavior with his younger brother. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, counsel is continuing to just lead the witness.
I would have to agree on that, Ms. Underwood.
Have there been issues between the siblings since being in your care?
Yes, there has. Would you like me to express those issues?
I guess what have been your major concerns with, if any, with the siblings?
As far as the oldest of the 3 minor children that we have in our care has 2 major issues going on that I'm really, really concerned with. One was his sexual aggression, and he was waking his younger brother up in the middle of the night, touching his private parts and pulling on them. So we had to separate them into other bedrooms and take a lot of drastic measures to keep the middle child safer from his sexual behaviors that he was experiencing.
Okay.
And then
is that child receiving any sort of services for those concerns?
at this time, he was seeing a therapist for that, but the therapist that he was seeing just kind of went off the radar. So we are in the middle of trying to get him a new therapist, but he does have a counselor at school that he talks to. And he has wraparound services that we're always engaged in.
Okay. Could you describe the changes you've seen in each of the three children over the last year?
Oh God. They're all three always very happy, very energetic. The oldest and the middle are doing wonderful in school. They go to school every day unless they're sick. They love being involved with other students, with other parents, with the teachers. There's not, all the chaos. They love a normal routine in life, the consistency. They're vibrant, they're learning, they're doing so good. Their health, their dental, everything is on target. They're doing wonderful.
Okay. And they've learned to use utensils in the toilet and.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you believe it would be important for this court to know today?
Um,
Ms.
Just
King,
that-
I can hear your comments, and if it happens one more time, I'm gonna ask you to step out as well. Please refrain from making comments. Go ahead.
I would just like the court to really take into consideration how fulfilled these children's lives are. They have a safe, stable home that they enjoy every day coming home to. They love the normal childhood experiences, and they're very healthy now. They're very well kept. They're very well mannered, and they're doing great. They're living their best life. That's all I want for them.
And if necessary, or if it came to that point, would you and your partner be willing and able to provide permanency for these children?
Oh, yes, 199 without a shadow of doubt. Yes, completely.
Thank you. I have no further questions, but the other attorneys might.
Okay, Ms. Thomas, any questions?
Ms. McKinney, I know that you've provided quite a bit of testimony in Ms. Miller's
Okay,
case, but
sorry, hang on a second. Ms. King, you're gonna have to leave the courtroom. Please make your way to the hallway.
I just don't approve of some things that are shacked up together, not living for the Lord. Oh, get my paper, please.
Thank you. All right.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
Stay in the hallway.
sorry about that, Ms. McKinney. You've testified in Ms. Miller's case, and so I'm sorry if some of these questions are redundant. And to clarify, are you related to Ms. Miller?
My spouse is Miss Miller's uncle.
And do you have an ongoing do you and your spouse have an ongoing relationship with Ms. Miller?
No.
And if you were to provide permanency through adoption, can you help the court understand how you would protect them from future harm?
I will do anything and everything, for these kids. I provide them, all their medical needs, all their educational needs. We want to get them involved with sports and everything. I would give my life to protect these kids, but also want, now that question is kind of out there, if this does go to the next step of permanent placement, Josh and I both 199 hands down, we will do that. But I would personally like personal protection order, especially against Dustin King, to help me protect the kids. Especially if I'm in a public place with the kids, I fear his behavior and his outburst and how far it would go, and I don't want them to be subjected to that.
Have you felt threatened by Mr. King during this year that you've had placement of the children?
Oh, yes. And also before then, yes, I've seen very violent natures from him before. And he was going by our house, driving by real slow and honking, 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 honking. Him and his mother both were. And yeah, he's a very aggressive nature about him.
And as you've provided care for the children over the last year, have they asked about their father?
To be brutally honest, no, none of them have.
I think Ms. Underwood asked most of the questions, so I have nothing further. Thank you so much, Ms. McKinney.
Welcome.
Okay, Ms. Berger, any questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
I have none.
All right, any redirect, Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any other witnesses?
I have no further witnesses.
Very well.
I
Comments?
can,
Thank you for your testimony, Ms. McKinney. That's all we need from you for today.
okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, let's head into closing arguments, please, beginning with Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. As relates to the review hearing, permanency planning hearing, I believe that the court report and the testimony we've heard today would support ongoing placement of the children and a continued permanency goal of adoption for these kiddos. And in order to allow these children to be freed for adoption, I would say this court's very aware of the need to unfortunately terminate parental rights under a clear and convincing evidence standard. In the petition, the agency has alleged that there's clear and convincing evidence to terminate Mr. King's parental rights under MCL 712A.19B3CI, in which Mr. King has been a respondent under these proceedings has been a respondent, and he was ordered into a case service plan more than 6 months ago. The conditions that led to the adjudication continue to exist. We've heard testimony that he still does not have stable housing. He does not have employment or sufficient income to meet the needs of the children. When these children were removed, they were found living in deplorable condition. We had photos of just how dirty and neglected they were. And Mr. King still has not taken any personal responsibility for their condition. We've had the trauma assessments in which the assessments came back indicating these children at such a very young age had complex trauma. And Mr. King also could not be bothered to attend his bonding portion of those assessments back in February of last year, I believe. We know that there was domestic violence in this home. I believe the incident that led to removal included him throwing canned goods at mom. And since then, we've had a further arrest, and he's pending. Those criminal charges are currently pending. He has not engaged in any services to address those concerns. His psychological evaluation indicated he needed a psychiatric evaluation and needed to demonstrate some mental health stability. Despite the department, by way of the agency, providing those reasonable efforts, making the referrals, encouraging him to get Medicaid, and being available for him to utilize as support, he has been combative, nonsensical, and he has also disengaged at various points throughout this case. And so I believe that all those conditions that led to adjudication continue to exist. And I think his testimony and his behavior throughout the year that we've even seen in court is very demonstrative that those conditions cannot and will not be rectified in a reasonable amount of time, considering those children's ages. I think that a lot of those same issues speak to subsection J of the statute, that there's a reasonable likelihood based on the conduct or capacity of the children's parents that the children would be harmed if returned to his care. We've heard how he has drove around the placement's house, and he has been very violent and threatening. They do not feel safe, and that's despite his children being there. He also has not demonstrated any acknowledgement of his own behaviors and how they have impacted the children's trauma or their own behaviors, I guess. And I think that speaks directly to the risk of harm that those children would face if they were ever to be returned to Mr. King's care. The best interest factors, I believe that as the record as a whole would demonstrate, by more than a preponderance of the evidence, it is in the children's best interest to terminate Mr. King's parental rights. We have an older child whose mother's rights are still intact, but even that child hasn't had contact with Mr. King for a year. We've heard how he is now thriving in his foster care home. And Mr. King has, in his testimony, what was very telling is he did not mention anything about the children or wondering how they're doing. He has not reached out to the agency to inquire. Even if his parenting time is suspended, sometimes we still have parents who will be very involved and engaged and try to complete whatever conditions are put on their parenting time in order to see their children. And we did not see that from Mr. King. And I think that speaks to the oldest child in particular and his best interest. This kiddo was transient with his dad, withheld from his mom. He was physically abused by dad's partner, and dad had him not in school and very brainwashed and manipulated, for lack of better words. And that's how the oldest child was removed from Mr. King and placed with his mother. As it relates to the other three children, I think that they are similarly situated for the court to consider their best interests together, despite the fact that they are in a relative placement. That is not Mr. King's relative. And we've heard from Ms. McKinney herself how her husband would like extra protection from him. So I don't believe that that would weigh in favor of maintaining parental rights at this point in time. We have relatives who are willing to provide permanency through adoption. They have been able to maintain the same community environment with these caregivers. And we've heard plenty of testimony, and through the reports, we've also seen through the progression of this case, how the children have been able to adapt to a more typical childhood. They don't have to live in a tent life anymore. They have shelter, they have toys, they're clean, they get to the doctors, they get to go to school and be part of a community. And I think all of those things really support this court finding that termination is in the children's best interest. Furthermore, these children, because of what they were exposed to so early on in life, have so many special needs, and obviously those neurological conditions also need to be addressed, and they need to continue to receive treatment. And the parents, Mr. King particularly, did not do anything to address that prior to removal. And we've had caregivers who have had to step in and get these children stabilized. And there's nothing that demonstrates that Mr. King would be able or willing to do that if they were in his care. For those reasons, Your Honor, we're asking the court to terminate Mr. King's parental rights, commit the children to the department for adoption purposes, and grant any other relief this court deems necessary at this point in time, specifically as it relates to protections for them in their placements. Thank you.
Okay. Comments today, Ms. Berger?
Thank you, Your Honor. I am in agreement with the department. I've been able to talk with my client several times. And although he is fairly young, he really has a lot of insight into himself and to his family situation and the things that he's experienced. And he does wish for his father's rights to be terminated. He was very blunt with me with that, very honest, very open, and has been steadfast since I started meeting with him. Before even there was a termination trial scheduled, he was like, I'm done. I do not want to be with him anymore. I do not want him to be able to, reach me, contact me, anything like that. So, I last spoke with him less than a week ago, and he was still the exact same in the exact same position. So, he is in support of the agency and of the petition. I believe it's in his best interest. He believes it's in his best interest. And I think that in not doing so, it would subject him to such a backward slide that it would be almost dangerous for him just to even have that option open in the future. So we are in support of it. We would ask that the court grant it and that it allow him some levity, I guess, in the situation and some calmness for him, knowing that there's at least one less person who could subject him to the things that he's been subjected to in the past. Thank you.
Mr. Brooks, any comments?
Representing this client in this case has presented its challenges. All I can say to this court is, before you can terminate parental rights, you must prove by preponderance or by the overwhelming evidence that there is no other alternative. And I submit to you that that's what I have to say. That it should be proof, clear and convincing evidence that his parental rights should be terminated.
Thank you. Ms. Underwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll just first briefly provide a report on all the children. The oldest child, who is placed in a non-relative foster placement, is thriving. He's had a rough road, as this court's aware. He was originally placed with a non-respondent parent, who then since has become a respondent and then removed from her care. This is the most stability he's had in a very long time. And although he's torn because he's old enough to know, and frankly, he's been exposed to and remembers the most out of all of the children, he is resilient, he is bright, and I see great things happening for him in the future. Where he's placed is absolutely in his best interest and continues to be in his best interest. And it's where he wishes to remain at this time as well. He's very closely bonded, especially with the female caregiver in the home. And they're doing a wonderful job of making sure that he receives all of the medical, mental health, and educational needs that he has. With the youngest three, they're all much younger, too young to really demonstrate a true preference. But I mean, I think if you were to ask them all, they love living where they're at. They are also thriving. They're getting all of the needs that they have, which is an overwhelming amount, met in their placement. They're able to remain together, which is wonderful. They're going to school, they're getting the medical care they need, and they have that stability and love and nurturing that they were lacking for a very long time. This is such a sad case. The reasons for removal were just terrible. And the life they live now compared to a year ago is just 180 degrees different. And for that, I'm very grateful that the youngest three have a placement that is so loving and nurturing. They should continue to remain in that placement, and I believe it provides them the most permanency and stability. As far as this termination trial goes, Your Honor, I'm really passionate about this case because it's a difficult one when you have a parent who's blaming literally every person, every agency, everyone they can point the finger at, while apparently on a conquest to find the truth for their health, yet they're refusing to engage in any health services that are provided to them. I think the department has certainly met its burden in attempting to engage with Mr. King, assist him in finding services, assist him in finding healthcare providers, assist him in a myriad of things, and he has simply refused to do so. Aside from a couple of therapy visits over the last month, I don't think Mr. King has done anything toward his case service plan. And frankly, he's a danger to the children. I think he's potentially a danger to the placement. And to be honest, I'm glad that I'm on Zoom today because I'm not certain how he would react if he saw me in person. He's a loose cannon, and it's unfortunate that he's not getting the mental health help that he needs, because he would truly be better off if he could do that. I believe the department has met its burden. I think it's certainly in the children's best interests for Mr. King's parental rights to be terminated. I know it is the wish of the oldest minor child, as well as he's old enough to demonstrate that preference. And it's my recommendation as well that termination be granted in this case. It's not only met by an overwhelming amount of evidence, but also if you look at the best interest factors, it certainly favors the best interest of all the children. Thank you.
Well, thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's hearing. That was, of course, not only for the review and permanency planning piece, but also the termination, the hearing on the petition for termination of parental rights as it relates to Dustin King. The court's already reviewed on record that he was personally served back in November with that termination petition. In addition to being told a number of times that it was coming and some other opportunities to look that over. It's been filed since October 2nd, 2025. The findings as it relates to permanency as well as a general review are very much similar to the findings that the court needs to look at for purposes of whether or not to grant a request to terminate parental rights. Effectively, the termination analysis is a little bit wider in this court's opinion than a regular review hearing. For example, the court always has to look at whether or not it's safe to return the children to the care of the parent after disposition in a case like this, whether or not there's been any progress made on the case services plan. And those are very short summaries of the same statutes that the court is asked to look at for purposes of clear and convincing evidence in support of a termination for parental rights under MCL 712A.19B3, 4 and 5. I'm sorry, 19B3 CI and J. But the request for termination also asks the court to consider whether or not only the conditions that led to the adjudication continue to exist, but whether or not there's a reasonable likelihood that they could be rectified within a reasonable time considering the child's ages. So in short, there is clear and convincing evidence that that the statutory grounds for termination have been met under MCL 712A.19B3 CI and J in this case. Certainly Dustin King's been a respondent for more than 182 days. He's had nearly a year to work on his disposition order. Let's see, 2/4/2025. So he's not quite at a year yet, but the court has to look at the case every 6 months for permanency at a minimum. And the children were all effectively removed from his care November 21st, 2024. As Ms. Underwood went over, the older child was removed from Mr. King, but then also removed from his other parent in August of 2025. But effectively, all 4 of these children have been removed from Mr. King, again, since November 21st, 2024. It should have been no surprise, really, to Mr. King that the court would have expected him to find housing for himself and his child, to find employment, to provide transportation for them, to meet their basic needs. Those were all really simple things that were outlined at the outset of the case. We've heard about the devastating conditions the children were found in at the time of removal. I've heard about that several times over the course of the time the courts had jurisdiction, and Ms. McKinney's had to recount some of that again for us today. The children are certainly not in the same conditions that they were at the time of removal, but unfortunately Mr. King is. He has failed to find himself suitable living conditions. He's not able to provide really for himself, let alone provide for his children. And he clearly has untreated mental health conditions that continue to contribute to an additional significant risk of harm to their mental and physical health. His behaviors today, his testimony has been very consistent over the course of the hearings that he's participated in, and are described in terms of the psychiatric symptoms, in some of the records that were supplied even today from Adrian Counseling and Psychiatric Care as being concerning for his own mental health, and certainly would be concerning as it relates to whether or not he should have care of his children. He's reiterated to different service providers, including his psychological evaluator and the ACPC staff, as well as to child protection staff and workers, and even to the court at times, that he is and has been a good parent, that he sees no problem with his parenting skill sets, but rather that it's his litany of physical health conditions that get in his way. Further analysis of that was really complicated. It seemed to really be a reflection more of his mental health conditions impacting even his physical health practitioner's ability to determine whether or not he had some issues. The best the court was able to see was that he has been diagnosed with a brain tumor, but we had confirmation from his own neurologist today that that should not have gotten in the way of his parenting, nor his physical health in any way at this juncture, nor in the past. And Ms. Underwood cross-examined the neurologist specifically as to whether or not that would have related to his past decision-making as a parent, as well as his current decision-making as a parent. And the neurologist confirmed on both points that would not have affected him. As to the rest of his claims on his physical ailments, and I'm just using that term to broadly describe the litany of, to use Mr. Brooks's terminology, varied and sundry diagnoses that he shared with us. There simply wasn't any definitive proof that any of those things existed, number one, but number two, that any of those things could have been the cause of why his children were found essentially in a very very dangerous and feral condition at the time of removal. There was no way forward to show how fixing any of those things would have helped him become a better parent. And all of those pieces are simply things that the court takes the time to note in order to support the fact that there's clear and convincing evidence here that these children would be harmed, and that there's no reasonable time moving forward that we could see Mr. Dustin King remedying any of the conditions that brought his children into care. He hasn't done so at this point. He continues to insist to this day that medication and treatment for his psychological issues remains something he's not interested in doing in any uncertain terms. And yeah, so all of the areas that were considered by the court at the time of removal certainly do continue to be in place, and certainly there is no reasonable time that we could expect him to improve in those areas, considering that they have been in place for a year, and at the time of removal had been in place for a significant time before that. All of those things do clearly provide evidence also that there is a reasonable likelihood that his continued conduct would place all of his children in harm's way. And the record is certainly replete with additional evidence on these points. It's almost redundant for the court to even highlight some of the facts and circumstances. The court record that's been developed over the period of time since February to today is absolutely very thorough with regard to the analysis that was provided to the children with the trauma assessments and CMH assessments, and continued monitoring through opportunities for programs like Orchard's Family Services, which is a parenting assistance program, and Brene Moore, who's one of our experts that spoke to the risks associated with parenting time. You have the trauma assessments on parenting time also. And as Ms. Underwood noted, Mr. King didn't even bother to participate in two of those assessments to look at whether or not his bond with the children was healthy, or could be improved, or could be analyzed and supported in a way that would allow him to even see his children. Throughout the case, he's not been able to visit with his children because of stalwart support against parenting time, because of both the practical observations of the children's reactions as well as the support of professionals, including many that the court's already shared. And that really takes the court into part of what we look at for best interest factors analysis. In this case, the parent-child bond is always a major consideration for the court as it relates to each of the children. The oldest child, Ms. Underwood took the time to highlight his preferences. He's clearly old enough to express a preference and was very adamant that he does not want anything to do with his father. It's clear that his bond with his father is characterized by the extensive abuse and neglect that he suffered while in the care of his father. He's still struggling with some very significant challenges, especially for a child his age. And I'm just going to say that rather than articulating those specifically on the record again, as our caseworker has already done, I'm going to take judicial notice of her testimony as well as the documentation that was provided in the court report today to say that he has significant behavioral and mental health needs that he is working diligently on. He's making progress, but they still remain challenges, and those challenges are a direct result of how he was treated while he was in the care of his father. And that he hasn't forgotten that, and that's clearly impacted his bond with his father. And he's struggling to develop relationships with parental figures and support people that resemble something supportive rather than damaging for him. And he'll likely be tackling that for many years to come. The same is true of the other 3 children concerned. The oldest of that sibship of 3 also continues to demonstrate really significant challenges that were accumulated along the way as he was exposed to his father's parenting. And those have been reviewed on the record many times as well. So there were some really significant and devastating things that the older of the 3 went through, that he continues to struggle with. Ms. McKinney went through how he describes the tent life and some of the things that he went through, and has consistently talked about how this child's special needs impact both her life and the lives of his siblings. We've also heard along the way that his reactions to parenting time with mother or father in this case triggered really significant mental health issues for him, behavioral issues for him, which certainly reflects on the bond between the parent and the child in this case, and what that looked like for that child. The other children also had pretty significant reactions, but that child especially seems to have struggled, as Ms. McKinney pointed out, as a result of the length of time he had been exposed to the parenting of his father and mother, but father is who we're talking about in this case, Mr. Dustin King. All 3 of the sibship have significant trauma. They were found with significant delays and diagnoses and dental issues, and many of those things they have overcome and made significant strides in since being placed into the relative foster placement. The relationship between the relative placement and Mr. King was explored by Ms. Thomas, I should say. And it is not something that the court can allow to weigh against the best interest findings, considering that Mr. King is certainly more of a threat, frankly, than a support for that family placement. That family placement for the younger 3 and the foster care placement for the oldest child are certainly the best placements that these children have been in for some time. And at this juncture, the court does look at comparing those 2 environments. That has been a support that has allowed all 4 of these children to make some really significant progress, and speaks to the children's resiliency and hope for their future. This parent did not make any progress around developing parenting skills or even understanding why the environment that he had created for them was such a problem. That was in large part, in this court's opinion, as a result of his unstable mental health, which he continued to demonstrate up and through today. Our caseworker, as well as the guardian ad litem, and even the attorney for the oldest child, all support, and are experts that support that termination is in the best interest of all four of these children. The oldest, all four are similarly situated in a sense that this parent, the court's asked to analyze today, would certainly be a significant risk of harm in returning them to his care for many reasons that I've already explored. And all of them, in different ways, have their own special needs that require a higher level of parenting as a result of that trauma that they've gone through. The youngest three have not really developed enough to express their wishes, but again, have demonstrated feeling comfortable, safe, and secure in their placements. So for all those reasons, I find that it is in the best interest of all four children to terminate the parental rights of Dustin King. We're going to have our next review. The oldest child's other parent still remains part of proceedings and is working towards reunification. His next review, next review is set for January 6th at 10 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and allow that review date and time to also be our first post-termination review on the younger three, Sib Ship, who will now be committed to the department for purposes of adoption or other suitable placement. There will be no further efforts towards reunification with all four of these children and Mr. Dustin King Sr., and nor will there be any efforts to prevent further removal. And the orders will reflect that. They will be served on Mr. King today, who I believe still remains in the hallway. At the volume level that I'm hearing is any indication. And unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
What was
Thank
the
you.
next review date, Your Honor?
Did you ask me the next date?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, January 6th at 10 a.m.
Oh, perfect. I already have it on my calendar. Thank you.
Yes, that's what I thought too. We'll just keep them all together, even though they're at slightly different stages.